Hello darlings, welcome back to Thursday tutorials. I hope you all had some time to recharge and relax over the holidays and generally just have a good time, whatever that looked like for you. Last week we had a look at Tilde Brioche, and like most brioche stitches you can work that in several colors, and that is exactly what we're going to do this week. Tilde Brioche in 2 colors. So as usual, grab your favorite drink, grab your yarn and needles, make yourself comfortable, and let's have a look how that works. This is what Tilde Brioche in 2 colors looks like. Same as the plain Tilde Brioche, you've got your brioche knit columns, and in between you alternate between brioche knit and brioche purl stitches. As always, I've prepared a little swatch to make it easier to work, but the setup rows work the same as if you start from the cast on edge. When you work with 2 colors, you don't turn at the end of your row, but you slide your stitches back to the beginning, to the other end of the needle, and then you pick up your second color and start working across the second half of the stitches. Because of that, we have 2 setup rows. We start on the right side with our contrast color. We work our selvage stitch, and then we slip 1 yarn over, knit 1, slip 1 yarn over, knit 1, all the way to the other end of the row. Just getting back into that brioche rhythm of slip 1 stitch, work 1 stitch. We work our selvage stitch, and then we slide back to the other end of the needle. Grab our main color. We work the second setup row, we work our selvage stitch, and then we brioche knit, slip 1 yarn over, brioche knit, slip 1 yarn over, brioche knit, all the way to the other end of the row. Now that we've worked both halves of our stitches, you can see you've got both your yarns on this side, so we are ready to turn to the wrong side of the work and start with our row 1. Again, we work with the contrast color first. We work our selvage stitch, and then we slip 1 yarn over front, brioche purl, slip 1 yarn over, brioche knit, slip 1 yarn over front, brioche purl, slip 1 yarn over, brioche knit, and we keep that rhythm all the way through. So the first half of your stitches is always worked in your contrast color and the second half in your main color. Then we slide back again to the other end of the needle, grab our main color, work our savage stitch, and we are ready to work the second half of our stitches. And to maintain the brioche knit column on the front, we brioche purl all the stitches on the wrong side. So slip one yarn over front, brioche purl, slip one yarn over front, brioche purl. All the stitches that are worked on the second row of the wrong side. And we are ready to turn back to the right side and work our first row on the right side. Again, we go first with the contrast color. In Tilde Brioche, the only thing that changes is this part of the row repeat, where you alternate between brioche purl and brioche knit stitches every time you work the first half of your stitches. So since we brioche knit, on this side, when we go to the right side, we have a brioche purl stitch. So on this side, we brioche knit, so we slip one yarn over, brioche knit. Here we had a brioche purl stitch beforehand, so we brioche purl, brioche knit, brioche purl, all the way to the other end of the row. And you can keep track of your stitches, just checking what has been worked in the previous row. If it was a brioche purl, you brioche knit on this one. If it was a brioche knit, you brioche purl on this side. Slide back to the other end of the needle and work the second half of our stitches in the main color. And as this is always the row where we work the brioche knit columns, that is exactly what we do. All the stitches that are going to be worked on this row are going to be brioche knit. So it is slip one yarn over, brioche knit, slip one yarn over, brioche knit, all the way through all of our stitches. Look, this is what it looks like after working the setup rows and the first full repeat. You can already see the pattern emerging It still looks a little bit wonky, but that's okay. That's always the case with brioche knitting. So keep on working. I'm going to show you the anatomy of the stitches. So we are going to have a look at that next. This is what the row repeat for 2-color Tilde Brioche looks like. We always have our row A and row B because we are working with the first color across, and then we slide back to the other end of the needle, and then we work with our second color. Sometimes, depending on what designer or publication you're working with, it's row A and row B, row 1 or row 2, the dark color and the light color, or contrast color and main color. But the rhythm of the work is always the same, no matter how it's being marked in the pattern. So on our row A, on our contrast color rows, we always alternate between brioche purl and brioche knit. And then on the right side row, or the next row that follows, we work the opposite stitch. So since on the wrong side row we work the brioche knit stitch, it's going to show up as a brioche purl stitch on the right side. And because we work the opposite stitch, we work a brioche knit stitch in this case. But again, the rhythm is brioche knit, brioche purl for all the stitches that are being worked on this row. On the B rows, or the main color rows, all the stitches that are being worked are worked in the same manner. On the wrong side we brioche purl, and on the right side we brioche knit. That is all I've got for you this week, and I hope you're going to enjoy exploring this fun stitch. Next week we are going to have a look at 2-color cast on and bind off, and I hope I see you then. Have a good week.